A friend of mine had a problem with how I pronounced save, so let's address that. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. As some of you may already know, if you watched my first video, I think it was, yeah. If you watched my first video, you would know that I was not born here in Barbados. I was born in the island of Tobago, another Caribbean island, to a Tobago mother. So even though I live here, I still have some tendencies to say or pronounce certain things a certain way in comparison to how Barbadians or Bajans pronounce things. So before I get too deep into this video, here's a few words to add to your Bajan dictionary. Gain is translated to going, roughly translated to going. Don't is don't. Left is leave, not left. Left, two F's, is leave. They is there. So don't go about they is there. That, D-A-T, that is that. And there are a few others I'll try to translate as I go along so that you guys don't get lost, in case, as I get upset or anything, my accent doesn't confuse you. Honestly, there are a few differences, quite a few, between Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Despite the accent, there are also certain words that are pronounced differently. Like for instance, chive and sive, like I mentioned before. There's also differences in the way that we call things. For instance, golden apple is pomme. Now, as a child, my mother used to let me go to school with pomme chow as a snack. Now, I don't think it's very common here. Usually we get like gooseberries with salt. I don't know if there's another name for that in TNT, but gooseberries is like a really acid, light green fruit, small little fruit. But pomme chow is golden apples seasoned with chardon beignet and different stuff. But my mother just used to put salt on it for me and my brother as children, and we just used to go to school with that. And of course, it would look odd because you have green golden apples in a bag. I used to walk with like 3. So of course, children used to be like, why do you have green golden apples inside of this bag? And I'm like, it's just my snack. And they were like, can I taste it? And they'll be like, yeah. And I remember one time I gave this one little child one of my precious golden apples. I took one bite, one, and dashed it in the dirt. I was vexed. But children have a certain way of perceiving things, and I don't know why, but I was not happy that day. Funny story, I actually had to record this over the course of 2 days because I wanted to speak on the 2 different sets of ID, and I could not find my Trinidad and Tobago passport. And can you guess where it was? I actually had to get it renewed the last time I was there, and I couldn't collect it before I left, so it's with a relative. So I spent like over an hour looking for that. Problems of living in being from 2 different countries. Speaking of which, oh my goodness, I cannot use my Barbados ID in another country. If you Google the Barbados ID and you see a laminated piece of paper, that is the Barbados ID. In fact, let me get mine and show you. So this is the Barbados ID. You can actually look at it and you see it's literally a piece of laminated paper. Yeah. Now this is the Trinidad and Tobago ID. Tell me, which one would you flash between the 2 of these when you go to another country? Which one? I I tell you, I went to a different country and I handed this to a guy. And he looks at me so strange. Like, are you serious? I felt the embarrassment. I felt the embarrassment from my head to my toes. I cannot. I pray that they replace these very soon before I die, because I can't travel and show this around the place. It doesn't even fit in a card slot properly. So it's like always in an awkward place in your purse. You have to go digging for it. So you see what I mean? Luckily I can use my 2 different IDs, but other people don't have that privilege. It's either this or nothing. There's advantages and there's disadvantages, because for instance, I can't go into a conversation and say, wow, I made some really good polenta the other day. A Beijing will look at me and ask, what's a polenta? So then I would have to pause the conversation, explain exactly what a polenta is. And in case you are wondering, for my Bajans, a polenta is kind of like cuckoo, but a lot of aspects of it are changed. Like for instance, there's no okra in it, there's pumpkin, mashed pumpkin, and it's baked rather than stirred in the pot. So there's that. Different foods, different culture, what else? I remember the other day I got some passion fruit and pomegranates, and as we were driving home, my mother asked me, what's in that bag? Passion fruit and panganut. I said, panganut? Panganut? What's a panganut? Now if I had actually stopped for a moment and understood that she was referring to the pomegranates in the bag, there wouldn't have been any problem. But I was genuinely so confused. I wanted to know where the nuts came from and how they got there, because I also commonly get asked questions that are way out of pocket. You could drive in 2 different countries. You could do a little wine for me. Why are you so obsessed with your fat?
Your total amount is $39.90 at the first getting please.
Okay, thank you. That's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.